Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Roots Refuge Farm. It is a really chilly and drizzly day. It's been raining for almost the past 2 days without stop. It did not stop raining at all the entire day yesterday, through the night or this morning. It's real windy. I'm about to head down to the garden and do some planting. I'm gonna bring you guys with me. I was walking through this garden earlier and noticing that some of the stuff looks like it really took a beating, but gosh, isn't it all pretty? Like these roses, that heavy rain was not kind to them. Look at this. We just recently had a discussion about this plant in the Friends of Roots and Refuge Facebook group. This is horseweed. This is 100% a weed. But doesn't it look so on purpose? Growing there like it belongs. I actually pulled another one out that got really big. This grew really fast, but I pulled another one. It was over here, and I let it grow a long time because I just assumed it was something Will planted because it was just so purposeful. I need to pull that one. My hands are full. Look at this. These are my dwarf tomatoes that I started later that did not get stunted. They're already as big as the other ones were that took, I don't know, 4 times as long to get this size. Oh, look. I've got hollyhocks out there that are about to bloom. It's been a really rough go trying to grow hollyhocks in South Carolina. They get real rusty here. And I loved them so much in my garden in Arkansas, but it's okay. I did already pick a ripe tomato, and it's not even the end of May, so can't have everything, I guess. I feel like something new opens up every day. This is my first Cosmo of the season. I'm getting distracted, and I started to walk over here to show you guys some things. Not today. That is not today. I have to plant. Alright, so this doesn't look like much now, but it's actually a clematis vine that I got on the clearance rack. This is a really good time of year to get good deals on perennial stuff. And even if it's kind of on the brink, as long as you get it planted pretty soon and well-watered soil, it'll be fine. So I expect that clematis will come up, and it might not be like super brilliant this year, but it'll come strong next year. Hey, sweet Maya.
What's up?
Oh, you know, just planting some stuff.
I figured I'd find you out here.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Coming to get a tape measure.
Oh, nice.
I saw you.
Well, it started to rain, so I put my camera in the Polaris, and then it started to rain sideways. So I'm going to come put it in the greenhouse, but I'm going to finish my planting because I really wanted to get it done today, and I'm tired of not getting it done because of the rain, so I'm going to get it done anyway. I'll show you guys what I did after it's not wet outside. Okay, the rain stopped. It keeps like stopping, and then I'll think, okay, it's about to, and then it'll start drizzling again. But I'm down here in the in-ground, no-dig garden. Got a lot of weeds down here. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do here. We put some fresh wood chips down, but I'm not 100% sure that it's gonna make a massive difference. So my plan, I've got this corn over here coming up and looking nice, and my plan is to go ahead and fill in some of these other beds with corn. Of course, I have all of this volunteer holy basil in these right now. That's all the green that you see. I may move some of that, but I think I'm going to try to leave some of it along the bottom where the corn's going to be. I don't think that it's going to fuss either one of those for them to both be there. But I did find something. There's a little killdeer mama bird, if you see. So killdeers are birds that live in open fields. They lay their nest on the ground. And what she's doing right now is she's pretending to be injured. Okay, so she'll kind of run off, and they'll start kind of laying down towards the ground, and then they'll keep going because she's trying to lead me, and then she takes off. She's trying to lead me away from her nest, which currently has 1 egg in it, and it's literally in almost the identical exact spot as it was last year. I think it was a little further on this side last year, but this is where I had squash last year. I'm about to plant some different melons out here right now, but isn't that funny? I don't know if it's the same bird or if it is one of the chicks that hatched from the nest. I don't really know, but I thought it was pretty neat that it was the same spot. And it's raining again. I just don't know that trying to shoot this video is the best idea. I'll be back. Alright guys, day 2 of yesterday. It just would not stop raining, and my camera got pretty soaked once, and too risky. I'm actually heading out to the barn. Maya's out here getting the milking going. It's morning. I'm gonna go check my little eggies in the incubator and see how they're doing. I ended up planting a lot yesterday. I would pull, you know, a pack of seeds out that had a third of the pack in it, and it would get so wet while I was planting that I'd be like, well, I guess I better plant all of it. And I ended up getting a lot planted, so I feel good about that. I think it's gonna dry out now. It's been a very, very wet week, but the garden's thriving due to it. Unfortunately, so are the weeds. Good morning, girls. You don't say. Hey, Fern. I'm coming in down on this end of the barn because it's super muddy down there after all the rain.
What's up?
Thank you. More garden tea posts. These are black that Maya was making for Mimi next door. Here's the turkeys. Hey, little cuties. It's almost time for them to go out. Tilly and Ramona are like, let us out. Alright, let's come in over here. Alright, what do we have? I don't see pips yet. Today is the morning of the 20th. I set these at the end of the day on the 1st. So 21 days to hatch. Usually you see pips about 24 hours before hatch day. So it's not actually alarming to not see pips at this point, but I should see some by tonight. I am going to go ahead and add some water to the incubator to make sure the humidity's up. This is a terrible way to pour water in here. So that was a little anticlimactic, I guess. I was thinking we might see something, but too early. I'm just gonna sit out here and drink my coffee and chat with Maya while he milks. I was about to go through that door, but I cracked it open and Freya apparently woke up and chose violence. So I'm gonna go around the other way so I don't freak her out. She's already kind of refusing to get in the stanchion. Oh, hey Toast, what's up, girlfriend? Oh, Avocado, how are you? Was she freaked out because you changed the mat?
Yeah. This one's better.
Yeah. She milks out really fast.
She doesn't hold back anything.
She doesn't hold anything back. Yeah. What is that? 2 gallons? 2. Cows are very, very observant and they are creatures of habit. So Maya had these mats at the milk stanchion and they're in multiple pieces. And we got a solid stall mat to put on the floor of the milk stanchion, and this is the first time that we changed it out. So when Freya came in and she saw that there was something different, obviously very similar, the fact that it was different, she wouldn't step onto it. Maya had to lead her in.
She all right now.
So we had to get some anti-slip because we used this fly spray, and when we first laid this concrete it had a lot of texture, but after so much use of one, very heavy animals walking on it, and then also this oil-based fly spray, it was starting to get really slick. So we put the mat down to keep them from any risk of falling.
Now I'm sure it's just become more comfortable to stand.
Yeah. Fern is kind of mischievous.
Yeah.
You need to get some fly spray on, don't you, girlie? Look at this goofy cow. So impatient.
She wants attention. Like somebody else, I know. Oh, come on.
They love you, Maya.
They do love me. She like almost licked the inside of my ear.
Fern and Freya are so much smaller than Hope and Helen.
Yeah, but I think we'll get there.
Well, Freya's already grown a lot since she's been here.
Yeah.
They're just little. They're just youngins.
Just babies having babies.
To clarify, Fern and Freya were the appropriate age whenever they were bred. They were not bred young. Freya is she's almost 3 now, and then Fern is 2.5, so they're fine, but they're little. Oh, look. When we first moved here, a local viewer brought us some bird houses with South Carolina and R&R carved into the side. One is up near the house, and it had a bird's nest in it, but I just saw a bluebird bringing some straw to that one, so I guess it's gonna have some babies in it soon. All right, I'm done with my coffee. I don't have an excuse to sit around anymore. Time to go to the garden. Nothing like a few rainy days and then some hot humidity afterwards to just set the garden exploding. Wow, look at that. Isn't that pretty? This was just like a mixed basket thing that I bought at a local roadside stand because I thought those were so fun looking. So I've been going like bed by bed and just sowing them and finishing them out. So like yesterday I sowed here. I put in some squash seeds. I'm trying a batch of radishes. Radishes can end up being really spicy if it's hot outside. You get a more mellow flavor when you grow them when it's cold. But when it's warm outside, they also grow in like 23 days. And I'm wondering if I can squeak out one more round of them before they'll go straight to seed. If it's too hot, they won't bulb at all. They'll just go straight to seed. We're gonna see here if I can get one more round of radishes out. I re-sowed some melons on this because the ones I had put out here either didn't come up or got eaten by a pest as soon as they did. That happens sometimes. I threw in some cutting sunflowers just because I thought it would be pretty, and some zinnias here. That's lemongrass. But I've been trying to like completely fill out my bed so I can check it out off my list mentally and say that bed is done. You know, this one has all the onions in it, which are coming out here very soon, and then because the tops are just starting to brown, and then the sweet peas, which are going to peter out here before too long. They don't like it when it's super warm. So for succession sowing, I'm going to have like this whole bed to plant soon. Same thing over here. I really barely have anything going on in here other than like this trellis is planted, but once these sweet peas are done, and then once all of that elephant garlic's out, these will be fairly empty. I'm really struggling with this trellis. I've now sown Armenian white cucumbers here twice, and the seedlings have just completely disappeared. They'll come up and then they'll just get eaten. And I think what I'm gonna do, you can sow them and then cover them, but I think what I may do is sow some seeds in cups in the greenhouse and get them growing and then move them out here once they're big enough to kind of hold their own, because normally I would have cucumbers pretty advanced, but I'm having a hard time with my seedlings getting knocked back by something. I don't know what it is. I had to re-sow these too. These are my silver slicers. They came up and then disappeared. My priority has been putting seeds in the ground so they could get up and going. I did finally finish getting my green stalks full of dwarf tomatoes, and they're looking great. Yesterday in the rain, I took a bunch more like Cosmo seeds and annual wildflowers and filled in the places that were empty here. So like up here in the front, eventually I'm going to have some boxes here and an arbor with roses, but it's fairly empty now, so I just threw a bunch of wildflower seeds here to fill it in because it was nice and rainy and I knew it was going to be damp for the next few days, so it'll help them germinate. And there's not a lot of ground space showing, but where there is, I wanted something growing, because if you don't have something growing, the weeds are just going to grow there. Look how cute this is. So I have one thing on my must-do list this weekend, which is finish planting my tomatoes. We didn't finish getting these trellises hung yesterday, but I'm going to go ahead and put the tomatoes in, and then getting the trellises hung it's a two-person job, so it'll be on the list for this week. I'm going to have an obscene amount of tomatoes. This is not more tomatoes than I've ever grown. My last year really gardening in Arkansas, I had the whole high tunnel. I had lots of tomatoes in there. I had lots of tomatoes in the front garden, and it probably worked out to be about the same as what I'm growing this year. So I have had this many before, but it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a whole lot, and I'm excited for that. My little trusty sidekick. Sure do love him. Alright, so this is what I was trying to video yesterday. I did get a good deal sown in here yesterday. Will and I were discussing what we're going to do on the walkways, and I think we're going to try to like hoe these weeds for now, but if they are incredibly persistent, because we don't have enough wood chips and we've just not been able to procure them, we may end up just having to weed eat the walkways. I don't really want to do that, but if it comes to that, we will. Saboteurs, look. Already. There's squash bug eggs. Squash bugs are my garden nemesis. I typically will try to hand pick the eggs as much as I can, but I miss some, and they end up getting a lot of the squash. I always grow squash this time of year. I usually get a decent-ish harvest for about a month before the squash bugs get really out of hand, but I always succession sow. So like right now, these plants have been in for a couple weeks. They've got the very early stages of blossoms, which means I should be harvesting squash in probably another 2 weeks or something like that, maybe a few more days than that. And so now I'm sowing more squash. I showed you in the garden over there, and I just like dance around the garden, essentially putting squash in different places about every 3 weeks through the spring and early summer. And then I usually take a break from sowing it in the middle of the summer, and then I start sowing again late August, and I get way more harvest of squash in the fall rather than in the spring and summer, because the life cycle of these insects is kind of chilled out at that point, and they're not laying as many eggs in the fall. So if you have a long enough season, you can do that. You can do multiple waves. And succession sowing, I think, is really important, not just for pest pressure, but also for managing the harvest. Like for instance, I've got this whole bed is green bean right here. Well, it's mostly green beans and some volunteer celosia, some zinnias, and some basil, and I'm just going to leave those because they'll be fine growing alongside the green beans. But this is bush beans, and that's a pretty good amount. Like whenever these all come in at the same time, I'll be able to like can a batch or two of canned green beans or freeze them. I also have pole beans growing in the raised bed garden, as well as dragon tongue bush beans, which essentially you use like green beans. And so I'll have enough for fresh eating and processing, but in another week or so, I'll sow another bed so that I can process these, and then a few weeks later, I can pick and process again, rather than sowing them all at the same time, because I really love enjoying the process of saving my garden food. It is overwhelming. It is a lot of work. I give stuff away sometimes whenever I just simply don't have time to do what I need to do with it. I don't mind the tomatoes all coming in around the same time, because I can freeze them. I can core them, score them, and freeze them, and then I can process them 2 months later if I have the freezer space to do that. But with the green beans and things that really kind of need to be processed right away, I like to succession sow so that I don't have to deal with just an overwhelming amount. Every morning I come eat a few strawberries for breakfast. I'll never complain about the rain. I'm always so thankful for it, even when it's inconvenient. I actually don't even mind planting in the rain. The only thing that it makes a hindrance is making videos, really. But I kind of like planting the garden while it's raining up to a moderate rain. When it starts getting really heavy, that's not very fun, because then you're sloshing around in your shoes. But my favorite thing, though, is the morning after the rain. Whenever you wake up on mornings like this and you go outside, and the whole farm, the garden, the fields, everything, the pond, just everything here, it just feels intensely nourished and like wonderfully alive. And I love feeling that. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today, yesterday, and all the days that you do. God bless you. Until next time.